1, 2, 3, 4. Hi, I'm George Benson, and this is my club, the Breeze and Lounge. You're welcome. Glad to have you with us. I'm with my friend Jody Fisher, and we're talking guitar music here, y'all. And as you can hear, he's pretty proficient himself. I'm glad to share the stage with him tonight. He's going to be asking me questions soon after we finish this. Just having a little fun.
And that was fun. That was great, George.
Thank you.
Let's talk about your technique a little bit. Everybody always asks about your percussive attack when you're playing. Now, is this intentional or something that just evolved by itself?
Well, you know, I got into the habit simply because of the type of music that was being played.
Mm-hmm.
I love those hot guitars. You know, Charlie Christian. You know, when he played, and Django Reinhardt.
Sure.
And my friend Tal Farlow,
Mm-hmm.
and even the great Barney Kessel, you know. What they did that was so great, they would highlight what they were playing by having a place where they would do a heavy accent, you know, bop, bip, boom, and I'd be waiting on that kind of thing, and the song would take off like a rocket.
Sure, sure.
But in the early days, I had my early songs, I wrote a song called Clockwise, and it was supposed to remind me of a clock.
Yeah, great
That
tune.
kind of thing. And then we strike away with some. Not quite what I wanted to say, but that kind of thing, let's put it like that.
Sure.
And we're going to edit that out, so don't worry about it.
Do you think some of that percussiveness comes from listening to horn lines and horn punches, you know, from the big bands in that era?
Well, I think the trumpet probably is the jazz instrument because every note is singular and it has edge.
Yeah.
And if you put the right color with that edge, then you got something that's really exciting. I think that's what made that instrument stick out so much. And people like Louis Armstrong and Dizzy Gillespie and a few others, or many others, actually made that the jazz instrument. So I listened to it for lines. My favorite was Clifford Brown.
Oh yeah.
You talk about diction.
And he's speaking through his trumpet, that
That's
guy.
it.
You know, absolutely. Now with your right hand, you pick sometimes, using a pick, sometimes use your thumb, but they're both percussive.
Yeah.
Now, what are you doing when you're using a pick to get that really drum-like sound that you get?
Well, rhythm, the thing I like about the type of technique that I use, I'm not a technician on guitar, but it allows me to just, you know, let my right hand be the rhythm master, so to speak.
Sure.
And even if you miss a note or two, you're still in rhythm. So you keep the rhythm going and you add some notes to it.
And rhythm's the number one ingredient, you bet.
I think so. But you spoke a good point is being made there. It's also about the instrument. Some instruments are more percussive than others.
That's true.
In the early days, I used to use Guild guitars.
Oh, sure.
They weren't quite as mellow as the Gibson guitars, but on the other hand, they were good for diction. Every note was separate, you know, and clean. And then they had others. And as a matter of fact, the one that I play now, the one that I created for Ibanez, I'm not bragging about my own guitar, but when I designed it, I wanted to make sure that I had an instrument that spoke every note, because I'm a nervous kind of guy. I play a lot of notes, you know. There are many guys like myself, you know.
Well, that's a great way to make sure you get the right guitars. Have one made for you.
That's true.
We'll be right back, and we'll be talking about George's technique and the unique ways he plays up and down the fingerboard.